Hello everyone, we are with Robert Alan Peeler, which is the community manager of Metal Gear Online from Konami LA Studio, and we're going to talk a little bit about Metal Gear Online. And so let's get into it right away. How was the reception here at Tokyo Game Show? You have been here a while, so you can tell me what you've seen.
Yeah, the reception's been really excellent, actually. We have a lot of players coming in. This day was the most full of all days. We even had like a backup line along the wall behind us, and it was just so many people really eager to try the game. Big crowds formed also on the opposite side of our booth where we're having a stage presentation. So even if you didn't get a chance to play it, you could see a lot of the people trying it out and kind of learn what it's all about, especially with our demo video that we put out. So a very warm reception. Everyone's really excited, and we're so happy to show it off. We're just happy everyone's liking it.
So this is going to be a long haul for you guys, even after the release. This is going to be a long haul for you guys, even after the release. So what kind of support can we expect after the game is released?
Well, mainly we're going to be watching what the community does when they play the game. We're going to be checking to see what weapons they're using, how often they use them, what areas of the maps they're using them in, the network connectivity, everything that makes for a more enjoyable player experience, and then possibly adjust certain things in a way that would make that more balanced or more preferable to the playstyle of the community. But in general, we're launching what we feel is a good product. It's very tight, very configured experience that caters to an online, really fun, really focused experience, and we really hope people will like it. And we'll just be watching everything as it goes along and make sure that players are having fun and there are not any issues.
Metal Gear Solid 5 sold a ton of copies. So this means that you have a problem, because on day one you're going to have a ton of people coming in. So what are you guys doing to try to mitigate a little bit the impact or the millions of people that are going to hit the server all at the same time?
Well, along the way in development we are testing for lots of different things, and we're getting ready to ship with the expectations that this large franchise with an excellent game had in mind. And in addition to that, the online component that came with the launch of Metal Gear Solid 5, the Phantom Pain single player, was FOB, or Forward Operating Bases. And that's taught us a lot about what people can expect in terms of an online structure. And yeah, we've run into some issues, and we're working to address them as quickly as possible. But in addition, it's helping us prepare for Metal Gear Online. We don't promise issue-free situations, but we're trying our best, and we hope that everyone will enjoy the experience. And if there happen any issues, we'll definitely listen to the community and adjust what we can.
So, okay, if the servers die on the first day, I'm coming to look for you.
Yeah, that's what I'm here to listen to. Feel free to send me all those messages.
Okay. So, Metal Gear Online is the successor of Metal Gear Online that came out with Metal Gear Solid 4. Just think that I am someone that just played that one and just went into a news blackout, so I know nothing about the new Metal Gear Online. What are the biggest change I can expect in the new Metal Gear Online for the old Metal Gear Online?
So Metal Gear Online 2, the second one, that came out with Metal Gear Solid 4, and it was based on the aesthetic, the gameplay, the style, even the characters that were involved in that game. So the major iteration changes that have come with Metal Gear Online 3 is that it's entirely based on Metal Gear Solid 5. So it's based on the aesthetic, the characters, the gameplay style changes, and even the features, including things like Fultons and various different distractions like the sliding cardboard box, the walker inside the game. All these elements have been now included in Metal Gear Online because they're part of Metal Gear Solid 5, the Phantom Pain. And it really resembles, not just resembles, it is exactly the multiplayer experience that people should expect from after playing in Metal Gear Solid 5, the Phantom Pain. And all the different elements that they enjoyed in that game are now being introduced in this online component with multiple people, team versus team multiplayer, in a way that really changes the way you played the game and experienced it and enjoyed it. So you can now just truly expand your love of Metal Gear Solid 5 in this multiplayer space.
Metal Gear Solid and Metal Gear Solid 5 are mostly stealth games, while this leans a little bit more towards the shooter. But if I want to just stealth around in Metal Gear Solid, in Metal Gear Online, what can I expect? Is it something I can do all the time, or it's something that I should probably expect more shooting?
Well, in terms of the multiplayer experience, you should always expect that players will do what they want to do. So when you play the single player campaign and you go up against AI, you can, change your tactics based on what they're doing, be that sneaking or be that, shooting loud with, assault rifles or missile launchers or anything of that kind. But in Metal Gear Online, you have to anticipate what other players will do, and that doesn't mean you can't go sneaking the whole time. In fact, you can. We have a class known as the Infiltrator who specializes in this tactic of sneaking and catching people unawares and gathering information and otherwise killing the enemy that way, or not even killing them but defeating them non-lethally. There's lots of different elements also that aren't just tied to the Infiltrator but rather the whole game. So for instance, we have one mission type called Cloak and Dagger, and it's the classic Team Sneak mode revamped for Metal Gear Solid 5. It has the use of Fultons, there's the use of the optical camo for the opposing team, but allows also the Infiltrator on either side to and exact their skills in defending their base or attacking it. In addition to that, the whole game allows you to really just watch players' movements and cooperate with each other in either a sneaking faction or a intel gathering faction, or going loud and firing out. So you could be that role in that party-specific play with your team that infiltrates more often than shooting or gathering information.
A lot of multiplayer games implement a rock, paper, scissors mechanic to have one class that is more prevalent against another, that is more prevalent against another. Is there anything like this in your Metal Gear Online, or it's more catered towards the way in which everyone can beat everyone with the same possibility, of course, regardless of skill, of course? So
the options of play in Metal Gear Solid 5 in general are huge and varied. And that's the same is true for Metal Gear Online. Now, I definitely can say that I do think that some features, some tools, some weapons would work better against one class versus another. But at the same time, all your repertoire can be used against the right player at the right time. So plan your strategy based on what the other team is doing, or what you think they will do, or anticipate, or even just read the map and read your fellow teammates and make your own strategies based on just what you think will work out. Don't focus only on what one class can do to another class, because really, you could potentially do anything to any class from any angle on your side and their side. So that also means to watch out for various strategies that the opponents will take against you, and be prepared for anything. Just because you're an infiltrator doesn't mean that a scout or an enforcer will have an easier time taking you out. You got to be prepared for everything.
Of course, these kind of games have a certain lifetime. They last for a certain point and then they get replaced by others. What kind of lifetime does Konami expect from this game? I know you can't give me precise figures, but in terms of a year, 2 years, or several years, multiple years, even a decade, who knows?
Well, I mean, that kind of thing is really hard to predict. It's entirely up to the player base. We hope that players will like it for a long time and enjoy it just because it's a really fun experience. Every online game, this goes for other franchises as well, when they introduce a series and then maybe they iterate on it or they'll support it, they hope that players will be playing from the day they start to their next content point to their next content point. And we just hope that players will just enjoy this game for as long as they can. And we're not going to pick any specific year or date. We're just going to hopefully support them on the way through their experience, and I hope that they enjoy it. And if there are any parts that they're having trouble with, of course, we'll be listening to their feedback so we can hopefully make this game as good as it can be for the entire time that they want to play it.
So, do you sell this game? You don't need to sell it really, but sell it to those that
You like it?
Not to me,
okay,
but to those that bought Metal Gear Solid 5. So you don't really need to sell it, but they bought it for the single player part. So they don't really, they don't even think that, they don't even know that Metal Gear Online exists. So convince them to actually give it a try.
So I mean, I've read comments from a lot of single player fans who maybe didn't even try Metal Gear Online 2 or any of the previous multiplayer functions of the games. And that's perfectly reasonable, I understand that. Sometimes they don't want to play with other people, but the experience you get in Metal Gear Solid 5, the enhanced gameplay that is now critically acclaimed all throughout the industry, is what we're trying to showcase here in a multiplayer mode. And not only does it feel like the same game experience in terms of high quality, high fun factor, but it's amplified so much more with lots of other players involved. It's like an extra challenge for anyone who played the single-player campaign and has completed it and looking for something new. FOB is your first start with that. Forward operating bases allows you to see what it's like to play against other players and practice against this 1v1 environment with AI involved. But now this multiplayer environment, this pure PvP team v team multiplayer, is the true challenge for any hardened Metal Gear fan to see how well they can stack up against real human players and still survive in the Metal Gear Online universe. So we really hope you guys try it. It's coming out October 6th, and we can't wait to show it off to the world.
Thank you very much for your time.